Welcome to the Akashic Library.
Have you ever felt like you're just stuck? Like you keep hitting the same invisible wall? Or maybe you even end up sabotaging your own success? Well, the culprit is almost always a set of limiting beliefs. So today, we're going to break down exactly how to find these hidden scripts and replace them with a powerful new self-concept that can genuinely change your reality.
This right here is the absolute core of what we're talking about today, and it's huge. Just think about it for a second. Your relationships, your career, how much money you have, every single part of your life is basically a mirror reflecting the story you believe about yourself deep down. And nope, it's not magic, it's just how our minds work. And here's a really cool way to picture it. Your self-concept, that whole collection of beliefs about who you are, it's like a movie projector. And those beliefs, that's the film reel. So if the film is all about confidence and being capable, that's the awesome movie that plays out on the screen of your life. But if that film is about not being worthy or being afraid, well, that's the movie you're going to get day in and day out.
So why is this so hard to break? Look, this is way more than just thinking positive thoughts. There's a really powerful psychological loop at play here. You see, our brains are literally wired to find evidence that proves what we already believe is true. It creates this feedback cycle that can keep us feeling totally stuck. So what does that loop actually look like?
It all starts with something called a core belief. This is a super deep-seated, usually unconscious assumption you have about yourself or the world. Think of it like the very first domino in a long chain reaction that pretty much dictates everything you think and do. Okay, now here's the wild part. How this loop reinforces itself. Let's say you have a core belief like, I am unworthy. That's going to generate a constant thought pattern. I'm not good enough for that job. That thought then creates feelings like anxiety and leads to actions like procrastinating on the application or avoiding it altogether. And the result, you don't get the job, which then circles all the way back and proves to your brain that, see, the original belief, I am unworthy, was right all along. It's literally a perfect self-fulfilling prophecy.
So how in the world do we break out of this? Well, we've got to go back to the very beginning. And understanding where these beliefs came from isn't about blaming anyone. It's about developing some self-compassion, which is the absolute essential fuel you're going to need to make a real, lasting change.
So much of our foundational self-image gets programmed between the ages of 0 and 7. During that time, our brains are basically little sponges, operating in this almost hypnotic state. And there's a good reason for it. Survival. We had to absorb the rules of our family and our environment really fast to figure out how to fit in and be safe. The beliefs we formed back then about our worth, our skills, whether we're lovable, they became our blueprint for life.
And the biggest takeaway here is this. Please, be kind to yourself. You've probably been running on this subconscious programming, practicing these beliefs on autopilot for years, maybe even decades. These beliefs are dug in deep. Undoing them is not going to happen overnight. It's a process, and it takes real patience.
All right, now that we get where these beliefs come from and why they're so powerful, let's get to the most important part. How do we actually change them? So let's get into the good stuff. Here's a 4-step toolkit you can use to start consciously rewiring your mindset starting right now.
I absolutely love this analogy because it is so spot on. Think of a new empowering belief as a muscle you've never really used before. The first few times you try to lift with it, it's going to feel awkward, maybe even really hard. But changing a belief is exactly the same. It's a mental muscle that you have to train every single day through active, conscious practice. The more you work it, the stronger and more natural it becomes.
And here's your 4-part workout routine. Recognize, question, reframe, and practice. This simple but incredibly powerful sequence is your guide to taking apart those old beliefs and building new, empowering ones. Let's break down each one.
Okay, first things first. You cannot change what you can't see. So step 1 is all about awareness. Seriously, grab a notepad or open a doc on your computer and just write down at least 5 limiting beliefs that pop into your head. Maybe it's, I'm not good with money, or I always mess up relationships. Get really honest about the recurring stories you tell yourself. Next up, you have to challenge them. You get to be a detective. Look at one of those beliefs on your list and ask yourself, with real curiosity, is this belief 100% totally, factually true? Can I find even one piece of evidence that proves it wrong? Where did I even learn this? Just questioning its authority is like putting the first crack in its foundation. You'll start to see that most of these are just old stories, not facts. Step 3 is all about the reframe. See, you're not just ignoring the old belief, you are consciously and deliberately replacing it with a new empowering one. So a belief like I am unlovable becomes I am worthy of love simply because I exist. And this isn't just saying a nice phrase, it's a fundamental shift in your perspective, from a place of not having enough to a place of already having worth. Now, you might be thinking, okay, this sounds nice, but is it real? And the answer is a huge yes. This whole process isn't just wishful thinking. There's real, hard science that explains exactly why this works. When you practice these new beliefs, you are quite literally, physically changing your brain. Let's take a look.
It all comes down to this incredible concept called neuroplasticity. Basically, it means your brain isn't fixed or hardwired, it's malleable, like clay. It can actually reorganize itself by creating new connections based on your repeated thoughts and experiences. But here's the catch. It requires you to be conscious and to repeat the effort. With focus, you can literally help build a new brain.
This visualizes it perfectly. Think of your thoughts like pathways in a forest. That old belief, I'm not good enough, well, that's a path that's been walked thousands of times. It's wide, it's clear, it's easy to go down. Every time you consciously choose the new thought, I am capable in learning, it's like you're taking a machete and starting to clear a brand new trail. And with repetition, that new path gets wider and easier to travel, while the old one starts to get overgrown from not being used.
So, we'll leave you with this really powerful question to carry with you. The next time you feel that old limiting belief pop up, just pause for a second and ask yourself, how would the ideal version of me think or feel or act right now? It's not about being perfect. It's about making one different choice in that one moment. And that one choice, when you practice it over and over again, is exactly how you build a whole new reality.
The self you defend so fiercely is the greatest illusion you'll transcend. Next, discover timeless wisdom for modern life in Stoicism, Indifference.